Buffalo, Rochester, St.
Newark.
Petersburg.
Closer.
There, maybe now you can recognize it. I think you may have even been there this time. Hey, Betsy. Well, let's go ahead and do like a really quick introduction. Ellie, you want to go first?
I'm
Just
Ellie
where you're-
McCulloch from New Orleans.
And then Deb,
Debbie Graham, also from New Orleans.
and we'll do all the New Orleans people first. Louise,
So Louise Bienvenue in New Orleans as well.
okay, and then the Phoenicians. And we'll save Betsy for last. Wendy,
Wendy Larson, Phoenix.
okay, and Wendy is our PRO, and I think everyone knows me, and Bruce and Diana Andrus. I think they're in the middle. I don't know how they are on everyone else's screen, but say hello, Bruce.
Hello there.
Hi.
And down on my bottom, but who knows where it is on other people's screen, is Betsy Allison.
Hi, Betsy Allison, Newport, Rhode Island. Glad to be with you guys.
Hi,
So-
Betsy.
Hi, Louise. How are you?
Hi.
I'm good. It's been a very long time.
I know. It'll be fun.
So I'm gonna
And
go ahead.
Naomi.
Yeah,
Thanks, I don't
Naomi
feel
is,
Naomi.
oh, Naomi is up there. Yeah, I forgot because it's black up there. Sometimes her name even disappears. But there's Naomi.
Hi, Naomi from Lake Mead, Nevada.
Okay, so we're all here, and I'm just going to give a tiny bit about WOWaZr. This is the third go around. However, the first event was in 2019 and it went great. We had a lot of fun. We learned a lot. We've ironed out some of the kinks that we had then. And we tried it again in 21, but Maricopa County had the highest COVID numbers in the nation. So we decided that it was not something that we wanted to do then. So here we are, the third try. Was planned to be every 2 years, so we're in our third cycle now. The first thing that I wanted to go over, and you might want to open your chats, is traveling to Phoenix. And if you haven't shared your travel timetables with Bruce and your contacts, you should certainly do that, so that pickups can be arranged. Is anyone driving? Naomi, are you driving?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Are you bringing anyone with you, or?
I was
Sorry.
gonna reach out to the three ladies, but I know one of them is bringing her RV, so yeah, I might be carpooling, bringing some people. Otherwise,
Okay, yeah, because I noticed that there was one woman that I think was I met in Alameda that's from Nevada. So if you know people that are coming, it'd be good if y'all can carpool. That's one of the things with flying in, if you're not aware. Sky Harbor is pretty far from Lake Pleasant. So if we can have people even now share your approximate times of arrival and what airline you're on, everyone can kind of look and see, you know, I know some of you are probably on the same trips, but if you could look and see if your arrivals are close together, maybe we could get groups together for pickups instead of doing onesie twosies. It's
Hey,
about,
Debbie,
yeah.
I have Jody, Haley, and Gail are all coming in within about a 2-hour period of each other. And that's the only 3 flights that I know of.
Okay,
We'll have booked.
Well, I got Betsy stuff today.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
so
sent my
so
stuff
it
a
would,
couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
yeah, if you can put it in the chat now or send it to Bruce, and go ahead and copy me to it. I'll put my address chat.
Send me your flight information, and then, of course, the cost of the ticket, and then let me know if you want me to mail you a check, Zelle you money, pick up a check when you're here, how you want to get paid, and I'll take care of it.
And we do this in the
Thank you.
chat.
What's that?
Okay, there's the three of us from New Orleans are all coming in together.
Awesome. You guys are awesome.
If you could, Haley, Hallie, how do you say it?
Haley,
What day do you come in?
Thursday, and I
Okay.
live at 248
Okay.
from Seattle.
On Alaska Airlines,
Yes.
And bring some cold air with you.
please.
Ah,
Anything
it's
below 100, we'll take it.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's chilly and rainy today. We've had some pretty sunny 70-degree weather, but yeah, it's chilly and rainy today. How warm is it in Arizona right now?
It's
103.
it's been like very hot.
It's 105 yesterday.
But it'll cool down, ladies.
Yeah.
Don't get excited. It'll cool
Yeah,
down.
You
It's
keep telling
very
us that.
unusual, and we had a couple of nice, cool, pleasant days, so it will come back around.
It'll cool
El
down.
Nino year, so we get what we get.
Yeah.
If you are driving, make sure that you go to, and Naomi knows this, but anyone else that is driving that will listen to the video, make sure that you go to Pleasant Harbor Marina, not the other side. So you go to the east side of the lake. And you could probably find us pretty easily by getting on the shuttle and going down to the marina. So also we should talk a little bit about rooms for the coaches and what we're going to do for Thursday evening. Bruce, do you want to take?
Well, we have guest hosts, helping us out and stuff. So everybody will have a room with a bed and a nice home. Yeah. And so again, we'll be picking everybody up from the airport. So, you'll have shuttle, and we're going to have that cookout Thursday night where we all get together and talk things over and stuff like that. And then we'll have transportation, and like we did the last time, we have, people, Wendy's actually going to, Debbie's going to, me and my wife. We have some other people so everyone will have a nice place to stay, nice warm bed, and transportation and food.
Actually, nice cool bed.
Yeah,
Nice
we'll
cool
turn on
beds,
the
yeah.
air if it's still,
This is in
still like a
Seattle.
little warm.
Yeah, they're not gonna think it's cool.
Yeah, it'll be all right. So
They keep telling us it's cooling down, but it's
It-
gonna be hot for everybody else. I
it'll
think.
be cool. Anyhow, so again, if you just right away get us your flight information so we can make arrangements now, some of you may fly in. I may ask you to sit at the airport for 30, 40 minutes till the next person comes in or something. We won't just leave you sitting there. We'll have somebody at least talking to you or whatever. So we can, because it's about 45 miles or more from the airport to the lake. So we don't want to spend all day just driving back and forth. We'd like to shuttle as many as we can at one time. And then everyone will be together at the same time that afternoon when we do our get together.
Yeah, and for people that are like coming in a time frame that is fairly close together, it'd be good if you shared your contact information so that you could call each other at the airport. And if you're in the mode of having to wait for someone else to come in while someone else is with you, then you can at least go and look at the t-shirts or whatever together. So I sent out the agenda too, for the rooms at the Desert Outdoor Center. Deb and Jody asked if they could room together. Bruce, how many rooms at the outdoor center that are like the more private rooms do we have for coaches? I can't remember.
There aren't any private rooms. It's
Well,
called-
there's that those,
They weren't private, but there were rooms that were shared that weren't the bunk rooms, and I can't remember how many of those there were. There's only one in the whole building?
was there one or two? One, no, there was one in the whole building.
Yeah.
Okay. So some of you will be in a bunk room together, and we could put coaches together, or it's up to you guys whether you go in with the students or want to stay away from them when you're when you're not working.
Well, the bunk rooms are nice. I mean, it's not like, we're putting them out in the barn or something like that. It's a
I
nice
can
building.
show.
I mean, it's
some
no
of-
different standing in a hotel room.
Well,
Yeah.
And it might make more sense to organize ourselves. There are two sides to the bunkhouse. With what, 25, 24 beds on each side. I
24,
think
25 on each.
Now,
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
use the other bunkhouse for some of them too.
if we need to, yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
At
so
a
we could put some people, if they, in a less full area if they want.
Well, the other thing we might want to think about is some of you are coming from the East Coast, some of you are coming from New Orleans, some of us are, and time changes are going to mess with us. So it might make sense to put people who are early to bed people on one side of the bunkhouse and the late night partiers on the other side of the bunkhouse, so that when the late nighters are coming in, they aren't waking everybody who's already gotten to sleep. Just a thought.
So if you have a preference on whether you want less populated or, don't care if you're in the more populated place, then just put it in the chat and let us know.
Plus, we'll be getting into the Desert Outdoor Center long before any of the participants show up. So they'll have a
You'll
chance
get-
to look
you'll
it
get
over
first
like
dibs.
they'll get first grabs, you know what I mean? So,
So I'm gonna skip down to Friday, and if you're driving, the lake entry it's included, right, Bruce?
yes, but let me back up for a second here, Debbie. Let's talk about Thursday night for a second. We plan on getting together and we're gonna host a cookout. I need to know any kind of dietary restrictions or whatever from any of our coaches. I already got them from our participants. It was on their form. Do any of you gals have any kind of allergies or anything we need to know about, or food you don't or don't like? Please let us know so I can write it down so we can make sure you're fed properly. And not fed improperly is the right way.
No seafood or shellfish. Is
Oh,
on
No
the
gluten.
we were gonna,
Okay, if you could read that
Yeah.
to me.
all right, no seashell, okay.
So who was that without seafood and shellfish? Okay,
Debbie.
Deb, really, in New Orleans?
From New Orleans, I like
Whoa.
seafood, my kind of gal.
No, she may like it.
But I mean, our thoughts was, burgers and hot dogs and potato salad, a cookout. Is anybody, vegetarian or besides Debbie? I mean, and then that's nothing wrong with that. I mean, yeah.
No gluten.
no gluten. Okay.
We
Yeah,
have
gluten-free.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that we, you get a nice, good cooking and, but it's something you can eat.
No salmon patties oh no, she says shellfish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No seafood at all, Debbie? No fish. Got it.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
no salmon patties for you.
Sorry, I don't eat fish either. So,
He
Yeah,
doesn't have an
you're in good
allergy.
company.
So we have one participant who has a severe nut allergy. So we don't want anyone bringing in any nuts, granola bars or stuff with nuts. She goes into anaphylactic shock.
That wouldn't.
So we want to be careful on
yeah, so
that.
we'll make sure the snacks on the boats are proper
Yeah.
stuff.
But
So,
I don't know. I'm hoping the participants don't bring
no.
stuff like that.
Naked burgers, okay.
Okay.
We'll be like you, we'll be half raw. So, yeah, so if there's anything else, feel free, you should have my phone number and my email address, either mine or Diane. Just give us a notice ahead of time and we'll make sure that you get what you like.
So for the lake entry, what do they do when they get to the gate, Bruce?
Okay.
They
No,
do pray?
I'll have a setup for the people at the gate will know. They'll come in and tell them WOWaZr. And
Okay,
they'll
so just say WOWaZr and
yeah,
that's,
just say
that's all
WOWaZr
you
and
need to do?
they'll know.
Okay. And,
I met with the water district today and I may have them, they may give me something I can print up and send to them that they can actually have in their possession, just give it to them at the gate. And that'll, get them in.
okay. So then on Thursday, after we have the dinner, everyone will go to host housing, not at the
Right.
Desert Outdoor Center, but at private homes.
Yeah, and they're all fairly close to the lake.
Yeah, we've got people who live close to the lake that are hosting, so it's not a big trek to get back to the lake from there. So
But that's Phoenix relative. So relatively close means 30-35 minutes for me.
yeah, the lake is, it's not like Pontchartrain where it's like right at your doorstep. It's a little ways out, but it's not out in the sticks, at least not anymore. So we'll start Friday with a breakfast and it'll be, pretty loose and socializing, and the coaches will have time to go down to the docks and look at the boats and make sure that they're up to snuff. And if there's anything that they need, there'll be time to address that. And we'll do that until lunch. Then we'll have a lunch and we'll go back down to the boats and check them again, make sure if they're good. And we can have a fan sail if you want. Go out on the lake and just do a little spin around the lake with, I would like to have a power boat kind of go ahead of us to give us a tour, so to speak. It's pretty simple. There's to the far north end of the lake, there's two big islands that if we've got a really good breeze, we might use those, but I don't think we will. We'll probably keep these races really short. I'm thinking that we may be up on the north side of the lake near the islands, but we won't round them. There's a couple of coves. We'll probably stay out of any of the coves. We'll just race in the main body of the lake. And one of the things to be aware of is the lake has pretty predictable diurnal winds, where in the morning you've got a nice breeze, midday it poops out and then perks back up later on. And it is a lake, so lake sailing is different.
And you should know the morning wind is typically out of the north. And the afternoon is typically out of the south. So that dead period in the middle is when the wind is clocking around. So
yeah, and sometimes when it's clocking around, you'll have enough wind to, sail, but it's not that unusual midday to start on the upwind leg and then end up going downwind before you get to the mark. So it's doing this big shift during midday. So it keeps people on their toes.
But Wendy's been a PR on this lake for a number of years, and she knows she's pretty predictable on the wind and how to set the courses stuff based off her experience. So we don't send you on a long course and knowing there'll be no wind.
What kind of boats are they?
What's that?
What are the sailboats that we're using?
We got sunfishes and lasers. we got Hobie 33, we got an Impulse 26, we got a J29, we got a couple Merrick 25s, we got a Merrick 22, got an Andrews 26. Let's see, I think
We may have Marshall's boat.
yeah, that's the Impulse. And then I also have I'll probably have a J24 too. So they'll be, have an opportunity, maybe an Ultimate 20 if somebody wants something a little more sporty. So, and then the bigger and the faster boats will be the spin boats. And then so they'll all be, the bigger and faster spin boats will be pretty much PRF pretty close together. So.
So
Okay,
the spinnaker boats are all symmetrical spinnakers?
Yes,
Yes. I had to think for a second.
that's what I was doing too, running it through.
Going through the list, going, yeah.
so then before the participants start to arrive, we'll all go up to the Desert Outdoor Center, you know, get settled in. People, I think Betsy's gonna probably stay with us. I don't know if that's what you're gonna do, Betsy, but you can, if anyone's gonna stay off-site, just make sure that you got a ride back and forth. We can handle that, Betsy. Then we have a dinner, and we'll have a little simple agenda for the evening. We'll all welcome the participants, introduce all the coaches. Betsy, you'll be the speaker. And then after that, we'll assign the coaches we'll do that earlier. We'll assign coaches to the boat earlier, but we'll assign participants to the coaches and boats that evening. And last time we had it, we did it in a really random way. And I would like some input from the coaches on how you would like to have crews set up. It's we did have some beginner boats that stayed, you know, with mostly lower level sailors that just wanted to go out and try racing. And then we had the boats with more skilled sailors on it. But we had some mix in there. We've got a lot of people who have some experience but have never really raced. And we've got a lot of people who have experience crewing but have never skippered. And then we've got a few people who have higher skills with both areas. So any kind of suggestions for how we split up the groups so that it will still be fun for everyone, I would really appreciate. Last time we randomly, I used Uno cards, and the colors were the boats and the numbers were the skippers. So it worked out really randomly and it seemed okay. So, but I think it could be better if it was done with a little more thought than that. So I'm absolutely open to suggestions.
Debbie, did the crews get assigned randomly too, or did you
Yes,
sort?
they did.
Okay,
They
seems
did.
like
We divided them up into like beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and then tried to get a mix by using the Uno numbers. Like if you were a beginner, you got a number 1 card. And if you were advanced, you got a number 3 card. And then whatever color they picked was the boat that they went to. I think that's how we did it, or it may have been backwards where we used the color instead of the number. But it was essentially a controlled random selection. And Deb, you were there, and so was Ellie. I think Ellie was a participant and kind of got the short end of the stick by being on a boat with a lot of beginners.
Well, they weren't all beginners for sure. I mean, I was on a boat with Naomi for a while. She's no beginner. But I do like the idea of keeping the beginners together, because I think it's kind of frustrating for somebody who has more experience to be with a bunch of beginners. And then the people that have crewed but not skippered, I think they should be a group that where everybody rotates skipper duties so they all get a chance to skipper.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's how
Go ahead.
it worked when we were J World.
And there may
last
be people who would like to hone their skills at flying a spinnaker, or
There are.
and so
people.
maybe if we know, or we could gather that information.
We do have that information
have
already.
it
We've
already?
got it already. Yes. So we need to
Maybe we
just
sit down and put tentative crews together
Yeah,
Uh,
so if there's anyone that would be willing to help with sorting that out, I would really appreciate the help so that we can put boat crews together that makes sense.
I can help you
I'll
with that.
volunteer.
Okay, Ellie, Wendy,
Obviously,
and,
I'll be involved with that with you, Debbie.
okay. And we've got data, we've
Yes,
asked
it does.
questions
Okay,
like,
we have-
have you ever skippered before? Do you want to skipper? So we've got a lot of information to go with.
Yeah, and I was on a boat, not at WOWaZr, with some really new people. And they were kind of overwhelmed with what the rest of us were doing. Because they were so.
Yeah, we didn't do that last time where the new people were, we kept the new people kind of off,
Yeah,
Well, then
which
total,
we'll do again.
so will the total beginners, if they're all together, will they still be on a boat with an experienced skipper and then
Oh,
they're?
yeah.
racing?
Yeah, so we'll get someone on the boat that has some experience at the helm. And the coach will be with them too. So I did a thing like this in Alameda and had a woman that had 4 hours worth of sailing under her belt. And she actually won. She won every race. So
they're-
it's hard to say what's going, maybe she was a sandbagger, who knows?
So everybody's racing together on Sunday, whether that's a beginner boat or an advanced boat, they're all in the mix together and just different expectations, just depending on the level of the overall experience on the boat.
Yes.
Yeah, and we may have separate starts for the very green people. So that, it's just less stress for them. That's kind of Wendy and Ellie and I will figure that all out. If you want to join us too, Haley, would love to have your input.
If needed, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, I'm finishing my high school season with a bang just a couple days before I come down. But yeah, it sounds like you guys have a good plan and maybe a separate start for the more beginner boats would be less hectic for everybody.
Yeah, big start line and separate start so that they don't have to stress about any kind of collisions.
And
Oh,
I've,
no,
I
I
was
think they
having-
should stress about a collision. All on the same line. Let them smack into each other.
All right, now, let's not get that aggressive.
Yeah, they're Bruce's
These aren't all my
boats.
boats.
Ellie,
Yeah, they're all Bruce's boats. It's okay.
Ellie, you signed the waiver that said you're responsible for the damage, right? You signed that waiver?
They don't get damaged.
I'm sorry, I was having technology issues, but one thought, and you guys may have already talked about this, about anybody that wants to skipper getting spread between all of the boats so that they'll have more time to skipper. Instead of putting them all on one boat and rotating them through, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what we will
Dividing
do.
them up. Is that what you talked about? Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
and we may put the
Something cut
people
off.
who want to skipper and have some background with the new people to, do the first race to do kind of icebreakers. So we'll talk about all kinds of different ways to accomplish, everything that people have asked for. Because we've got a good background on what they're expecting.
And have you
So-
ever had to like shuffle people after day one? Like if things are, it's not going well, have you ever shuffled crew for day two if you needed to do
Yeah,
that?
for day two, I think we had a couple of people who wanted to step it up, so we moved them to a boat that was a little more advanced.
Mhm,
And
okay.
we may have had one person that didn't know anything that just wanted to kind of ride along, and we put them, in an appropriate place. So on the second day, we can move people
Okay.
around, and even if it's a big deal, we can manage it. We're not afraid to move people.
At the end of the day, everybody should have fun
Yes,
and learn something of what they wanted to learn.
right. So having fun is really like the main thing that we want everyone to do, is like Wendy said, learn something, but also have a good time when they're doing it. So that is Friday, and on Saturday, we get up pretty early, but not horribly early, and do some seminars first. We have breakfast, do seminars. And last time we had Racing 101, and I think Emily Zagoni did that.
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, Naomi could also help with that. I know she does a real fun kind of first time sailing thing. And I'm game to do that. Racing rules could be Wendy Larson and anyone else that would want to, come in and go over like the rules. And I think that would be a good one, maybe to have 2 tiers, have the beginners racing rules and, the more nuanced racing rules for other people. Is that agreeable to everyone, or?
Okay, Debbie, Wendy and I are going to be leaving to set up the race course sometime during the class time.
Okay,
So
so I'll
Maybe-
scratch.
Well,
Wendy.
maybe at the break time. I mean, that early morning class time, we could
Yeah,
I
could do
yeah,
that.
do
yeah.
that, but if you're gonna do the early morning.
That is the
right.
early morning. It'd be one
Yeah.
of the first
But at the
things.
for the advanced rules, if you're gonna do that, someone else would need to.
Jody, could you step in and do that, or Betsy?
Yeah. Let me
I
know.
was just trying to figure this out because there are 3 or actually 3 separate sessions, some of which are scheduled at the same time. So since I've never done this before, I'm kind of curious how this works, because from 8 to 12, we've got intro to racing and racing rules. In the same time frame, we have racing strategies. And then from 10:15 to 12, there are other seminars with non-spinnaker to spinnaker in the Q&A. So I'm trying to figure out how we do it all.
Yes, the 101, like the racing 101, will be more time, and it will be for beginners. So they'll take up a bigger chunk of time, just like learning, the basic stuff. The other things, I may refer you to Ed because he's the one that did this schedule. So we can cross things out and make it better.
Debbie,
I'll
Debbie.
go and-
I think they're expecting breakout sessions, right?
Yes, they are. So it will be breakout. So we'll have like tiny groups where people it may work out where we have, a group where no one wants to attend. That has happened before, where we offer 3 things and there's only takers for 2 of them.
Are the topics, you said the racing 101 is a bigger chunk of time, but are the other ones intended to be an hour or an hour and a half? I'm assuming.
There'll be shorter times.
Okay, so even though racing strategies is listed 8:15 to 12, we're not expected to talk about racing strategies for 3 hours,
No.
5 minutes. Okay,
Now this
It
certainly
will
has,
it will happen sometime within that time frame.
got it. Okay.
yeah, we have separate classrooms for all these seminars. So it's not like you're all in one room or something like that. There's actually separate classrooms for all the different, so.
Just wondering what our target time is for each one. Got it.
Well, target
Yeah,
times,
I'll-
and then if there are several of us talking about racing strategies, do you want us talking about different aspects of racing strategy? Are they all going to overlap? Are they going to run at separate sessions? So that if people want to know basic strategies, or are we talking upwind strategies, downwind
Yeah.
strategies, or each session 20 minutes, and then do we rotate into something else? I'm just trying to figure it out because it's
Yeah,
a pretty broad topic, and there's going to be some
Yeah, it
people that are
is.
going to want bits and pieces of a lot of things.
It seems like that 8:15 to 12 o'clock block is what's kind of throwing everybody.
Yeah, it is. And I'm
Broad
not
topic
sure.
and the long time, and the others, we kind of all have been places where there's hour and a half breakouts and you do, what you do. And I think that's kind of
45
what was
minutes,
last
so-
time. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would even recommend 45 minutes for,
each
45.
section.
more
Yeah,
options in 45 minutes. Yeah, that'd be.
I'll take a pencil to that and rearrange it and send it to everyone in the next few days. Honestly, this is This is a little bit, I haven't looked at it that closely, and yeah, I see exactly what you're talking about. Last time we did breakouts that like we had a small boat that we set up spinnaker and did, rigging and, basically, basic trimming on a small boat. So I don't know why. Yeah, that's on there. Okay, so
That would be good if we had a demo boat to have a session on too.
yeah, it worked out pretty well last time for a demo boat.
We will answer any charges in court.
Okay, so I'll address that. And after lunch, everyone goes to the boat and goes out and practice. And we will do some just practice racing. Practice starts.
Only if you want to, only if your crew's ready to.
There will
And-
be some people ready to do it, I can assure you.
But know that that day, just so everybody's on the same page, race committee's there to do your bidding. So, if there are people that want to do a race, I'll send a race off. And if in the meantime, you'd like to just practice a series of starts, I'll run starts, or, whatever you want, I'll try to accommodate.
Yeah, so the idea is to have, lots of practice on starts, roundings, like the skills that you need to get around the course. The in-between stuff is,
Basically, still turns me on. Suzanne and Alan married in 1977 after dating for 10 years. He boasted this.
Who's not muted?
I don't know who that is. Okay, so,
Yeah.
we'll have dinner at the outdoor center, right, Bruce?
Yes.
Yeah,
On Saturday? And lunch, where is lunch? Is it?
At the outdoor center.
It is, okay, so
Yeah,
we
once-
do the seminars, have lunch, then go
Yeah,
to the boat.
once Friday afternoon comes, we're at the outdoor center all the way through Sunday morning.
Okay,
Or go down the lake, okay? So all the eating and everything will be done there at the outdoor center. And we have people that are coming and cooking the food and everything there for it. Diane, do you want to just kind of do a real quick run through?
well, let me
let him get
make,
through this first.
Yeah, go ahead and get through that. Go ahead, Debbie.
yeah, let me make a point here about, I've got the coaches debriefing their crews and telling them what was done well and tips for improvement. I put that there, but I would suggest maybe it be done in 2 steps, and it's up to the coaches. You guys know what you're doing. If have a debrief before you leave the boat or immediately after you leave the boat. And then if you need to have, one-on-one with people, you could have it later on in the evening. And then after that, we'll have a mixer and have fun. It's a really nice place to kind of commune with nature. It looks down on Honeymoon Cove, which is just a lovely little spot. And I have to tell you, there's like a bunch of wild burros there right now. So they'll probably
A bunch.
So don't even think about going out and trying to pet them.
Don't get close to them. They're
We'll
mean.
feed them.
Yeah,
Please don't
don't-
Yeah,
feed.
don't feed the wild animals. And there's also it's not uncommon to see eagles up by the outdoor center. So
Yeah,
there's
we have a bald eagles that nest up there, so you see them out there flying a lot.
and lots of vultures and stuff like that. It's a very beautiful little spot. So in the evening, it's kind of magical when the sun is setting and it's real pretty. And it's a great place to do stargazing. It's got a pretty reasonably dark sky still. So I was going to ask Naomi if she's interested in doing a yoga session either morning.
She's gone.
I had a quick question about the debriefs. I'm really big on debriefs. I think
Yes.
they're just critical. So yeah, doing one on the boats, it may be if we have time, it might be good to do a group one after, because there may be
Thank you.
questions that people have that they saw other people doing and
Yes.
kind of want to just, so I think if we could do debrief on the boats and then do a group one together, and I'm happy to moderate that or however we need to do that, but definitely should do one all together at the end.
I'm gonna put your name by it, Jody.
I'm big on those.
Yeah, and I think that they're a super helpful learning tool. I think if you don't tell people what they've done well and don't tell them what they've done wrong, they aren't learning as much as they could. So yeah, it's a really, really important thing to include. So do it as much as you can during the sail, after you're finished, and take opportunities to talk to people one-on-one if you can. So
I'll
then
get you
on
some gold
some,
stars you can put on their head.
pardon me?
I'll get you some gold stars that they
Gold
can stick 'em
stars?
on. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm big on, I always tell instructors when I'm teaching, I'm like, because I run with my level 1 classes, I'm like, okay, we're really good at finding the things that everybody did wrong. So how do we get better at finding the things they did really well and celebrate those as well? And I think leaving everybody at the end of the day with a debrief saying all the amazing things that happened so that we go into a mixer with just all kinds of good, happy people is the best way to
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah, and Lake Pleasant is a really, really, really great place to teach people how to look for the wind, because it's not, it's typically not a steady breeze. There'll be shifts, there'll be twists, there'll be lulls, there'll be holes, there'll be puffs. All of that stuff is constantly present. So that's a really good thing to teach people how to look for.
You do get a lot of wind shifts, so
Yeah.
you don't just set attack and go.
Yeah,
You're constantly on it.
sometimes it's like, seems like it's every 20 seconds.
It's every second.
Tell me about it.
I was being optimistic.
One suggestion would be on the debrief. So I did a training for adults my whole career. And one of the things I found helpful in debriefing at the end of every training session was not so much a focus on what we did wrong, but what could we do differently? What might we do to improve our, and that'll get to the things that went haywire, without it being a blame game, sort of. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you guys already do that, but.
Absolutely.
So on Sunday, one of the things that we need to be cognizant about is we will be checking out of the Desert Outdoor Center. So our bags will go to another area. They'll go to the Hook building, and that's where you'll pick them up after the sailing on that day, right, Bruce?
Yeah, yeah. So when the Sunday morning, we'll gather all their bags up and we'll transport them for them.
You'll have a bellhop
I'll
there for
have
everyone.
a trailer, lock trailer to take them down, and we're only talking a mile away. The Desert Outdoor Center is up on the hill, and the lake is down below it, so it's a mile down. And then I'll transport all the stuff so the gals can go to the boats and get racing. We'll take care of everything else.
And by the way, the building that we're going to on Sunday is known as both the Hook building and the Anchor Drop
Anchor Drop, that's really
building. So they mean the same building. There's only one building out in the middle of the parking lot there, and that's the building.
Yeah.
And it's close to the overlook where you can look down and see the marina. You can actually walk down to the marina. It's a little bit of a downhill walk, but it's not that far. We'll take our I guess you'd call it snack bags with us, and make sure before you leave that all of your crew has water, because we are in the desert. The humidity is super, super low. Even if it's not hot, we've got like no humidity. So it's really important to make sure that your charges drink plenty of water.
And I'm gonna also have a couple extra water jugs on the committee boat, big water jugs. So if you run low on water, go to the committee boat and get water. Don't let somebody dehydrate out there.
And I thought it was really funny that a lot of the women that came to the last one from out of town we're very, very amused that there's a floating potty in what we call, now it's in Honeymoon Cove, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so if at the Desert Outdoor Center, you can look down and see where it is. So there's a place to go without going all the way back to the marina if people need to use the restroom.
Bruce, will our
On
committee
Lake
vote
Mead, we
also
call them
come
the
ahead?
poop dock.
depending on which one I get, but even if I get one without, I'm gonna get one of those tents and a porta potty. So the committee boat will have one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can
Private.
stop at the
We have
committee
options.
boat too.
I don't know how private it'll be.
Well,
It'll be inside a tent.
Yeah. That's a
But
big,
the crew on the race committee boat at this point anyway is all women, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
should be okay.
shouldn't be any men on there.
Yeah, so all the luggage will go over to the Hook building, make sure your water bottles are full, pick up the lunches. And you can either walk down to the docks and boats. I forgot you have to walk all the way around. Yeah, there'll be shuttles, right?
We'll shuttle, we're gonna shuttle them down to the boats, so they're all together, they
Okay.
go right to the boats, and we'll
We're
take
not
care.
doing a grab and go lunch.
Yeah,
Okay,
We're
It's-
gonna eat at the Hook building.
when we
or
come
the
back from
anchor dock.
racing, we're gonna have lunch at the building. We'll
Okay.
we'll have snacks on all the boats.
okay.
So, before,
Oh,
because
so the snacks will be just on the boats.
I'll be on the boats.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And if you have any ideas for snacks, let me know.
Raisins.
I'm trying to come up with things that are gluten-free, no peanuts. What else do we have?
No show.
Cuties are good because they're hydrating and they're not very messy.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite snacks because they got plenty of water in them.
yeah.
I'm a fan of apples.
You-
Apples.
We're gonna do some fruit, but I was trying to think of something else and, we can't do granola bars. Pretty much every granola bar has nuts of some kind in it and,
We can do something like pretzels.
pretzels or maybe some popcorn. I don't know, and then fruit.
You
If
can,
coaches have any preference, just send it to us or tell us now,
Yeah.
whatever. If you have an idea, again, we want to make sure everybody's accommodated.
Well, pretzels are gluten, so you got a challenge there.
Well,
No,
they do make some gluten-free, but we're gonna have the pretzels separate. So if you want pretzels, you can get a bag of pretzels. If you don't want pretzels, you don't have to,
Have you just put out a screen to see if anybody has any of these allergies? That maybe
Yes.
it's
yeah, we have,
yeah.
Yes.
but all the people signing up, they listed their allergies and stuff.
There's
So-
really only one that's really gluten-free and there's one that has the severe peanut allergy. There's a lot of people that say they don't tolerate gluten, so.
Is it peanut allergy or all nuts?
Oh, I'm sorry, all
All
nuts,
All nuts.
it's all nuts.
Because there's a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Peanut allergy people that can eat other things or be
right,
around.
right, no.
Yeah, no, she can't have any nuts.
So the races will start pretty early. 9:15 will be the first horn. We'll try to get races started right away. Usually at 9:15, there's typically a pretty good breeze coming from the north. And we will have no starts after 1 o'clock. So as soon as the races are finished, a shuttle will take people up to the Hook building. We don't want the participants to work on putting the boats up. Bruce will have a crew there to do that. So you can spend time doing a debrief and get up to the Hook building so that people that are traveling can get out of town, and get to the airport in time. And the rest of the people that aren't traveling can hang around and have fun. We'll stay there for when do they kick us out, Bruce? 5?
No, I don't know, whenever I probably walk away, I don't,
Okay.
they'll just give me a key. We'll just,
Okay.
But we're not gonna stay there all day.
no, we're not gonna stay all night.
No.
And we'll do kind of the same thing with departures. If people are departing on Sunday, I know Haley, you are right. Yeah, so just if you make sure that Bruce knows what time you're departing.
Yeah, she's already sent me her stuff. We'll make sure we have plenty of time to the airport too.
Okay, there's some snack ideas
Yeah.
coming through there.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. Does anyone have any questions?
There are a few in the chat. Do all the boats have radios, Bruce?
Yes, all the boats will have radios.
And do they all have compasses or GPS? But they won't need GPS, but
Don't
compass.
need GPS.
Okay.
You can see everywhere
Yeah,
around, but I think most of them have compass. I'll have to double check. I think most of them do.
And we will have a chart, so to speak. It's not a nautical chart, but we will have a chart of the lake on each boat,
Yes.
so that you'll know where the landmarks are, you know, where Honeymoon Cove is, where Horse Island is, where Balance Rock is. Those are like the big features in the lake.
There's a couple islands out there, but they're well marked. And by that time, I don't know, they may be deep enough that they won't even be around. They're almost gone now.
Yeah, that's one of the things is about the lake is it's a very, very deep lake. So the water is quite deep. I sailed in Pontchartrain and even though Lake Pleasant is a lot smaller, I've got an idea that they probably have equal amounts of water in the two different places because Pontchartrain's real shallow. But it's very deep.
Right now, it's about 360 feet in the middle where we'll be at.
Yeah, and at the dock, it's over
180.
Yeah, it's typically over 400 out on the lake.
Yeah.
That's how far the lake is down.
Yeah.
However, the lake level fluctuates. It's
Yes,
in
it does. So
water
that's one
retention
thing.
rate lake. So that's why we say right now the islands are there. They may not be there in 2 weeks because they're filling the lake, I guess, right now. So yeah. Just so you
That's something too that can be, even if you have a chart of the lake, I guess what I'm trying to say, even if you have a chart of the lake, it may not be that informational because the levels do go up and down, I believe, by as much as 800 feet.
Oh, 80 feet.
Oh, 80, okay, I had one extra digit there. So 80-foot difference. So it can look quite different from 1 month to the next.
I'm just gonna throw this out there though. The reason for a compass is to pay attention to wind shifts.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So not necessarily that we're gonna get lost on the lake.
I know that.
Okay. All right.
Oh, also, Deb, I see your question for all the other coaches. Yes, if you're not flying out Sunday, we do have accommodations for you, and we will get you to the airport on Monday. So all the coaches are covered all the way through. So we'll feed you. You know, all we want your knowledge and your skill level, and we'll take care of the rest. All be taken care of.
And I understand that Bruce bought a whole bunch of wine. Is that right?
Probably more than I should have.
Well, here's
No.
here's the issue. Last time we bought all this wine, and I'm a red wine drinker, not a white wine. And I guess evidently most women are white. And so we ran out of white, but we have all this red. So this time we're doing it differently, but we're looking at some boxed wines because they don't want us having glass at the.
Yeah, no glass allowed, so we have to use box.
And that's another point that I wanted to make too, is we're aiming to have this be a platinum level green regatta. So we're making a big effort to have as little waste as possible.
Yeah, we've got all real dishes, real silverware, no plastic, everything we're going for the platinum. We got gold last time. This time we're going for platinum. So everything's
Yeah.
recyclable or
We might have to get plastic little wine glasses.
well, we got those recycled ones.
I know that.
a point of that for all of you who are traveling, I travel a lot. You can bring your refillable water bottles if they don't have water in them. You can, by the way, bring ice through the TSA checklines, just not water. I've also used my insulated cup to bring snacks on board, like string cheese or a hard-boiled egg or whatever, and it keeps it cold. It's just like a little tiny cooler. So if you want to bring your own refillable water bottle, you can bring it through TSA.
And if any of
With
you
water
want
in
to know about traveling with your life jacket, ask me or Ed. It's,
Yeah.
you can bring what, you can bring your life jacket with extra cartridges.
Do you have to check the cartridges though?
No,
No. Okay.
but it is a good idea to go ahead and print out the TSA, go to TSA and print out their statement about life jackets. And
I've done that before.
we tape it to our life jackets so that they don't, it's not that they're trying to hassle you, they just don't know. So it's a good idea to just stick it on there, and then when they are looking at it, you just tell them to read the thing, and it's their policy.
Now,
Are
ladies,
foam life jackets okay?
Pardon me?
Are foam life jackets okay?
They are, but if you've got an inflatable, I would suggest that you bring it. It's usually for here, because it's low humidity and it's warm right now. And I hope it's not quite as warm, but if it's a warm day, you'd be happy with an inflatable. And we have extra ones, Gail, if you don't have one that you want to travel with, we could supply you with one, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I have one. I just don't care for it.
is there anything that the coaches are gonna need for their classrooms as far as
Yes.
there are screens in the rooms and stuff, but I don't, as far as projectors or anything like that ahead of time, I need to know right away so I can have that.
Gail Turlock needs a projector with a screen, correct, Gail?
Not for like the small group, just for my presentation.
Okay,
I'm assuming there's whiteboards and markers and like little magnetic boats or anything there, or should we bring?
I've got a set of magnetic boats. I've only got one set. I don't know if Wendy's got a set. I could scrounge up more if you like, which is probably a good idea. I will ask.
we have some.
Like dry erase
I
markers
don't
and
have
stuff?
I don't
too.
have magnetic ones, but I have a set of small,
Yeah, so do
boats
we.
to
They're not
use.
magnetic though.
But you can set them on the table and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if your board's not magnetic, the magnetic boats don't do
Yeah,
anything.
you can use tabletop.
We'll put you in the kitchen next to the refrigerator. It's magnetic.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I had to take a call real quick. Did you say something about where we're staying Sunday night? If we're staying, do we need to get a hotel? I saw that.
We'll have guest housing for you also.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Sorry about that.
Or you can just stay on the boat you were sailing.
No, thanks.
What was I gonna ask you? I was gonna ask you. There was one other quick question I needed to ask you.
Should have wrote it
I
down.
know. I'll
Now,
think-
we are going to have a participant meeting on next week. So if there's any questions that you would like to have answered from the participants, other than their skill levels, we've already got that information. If there's anything that you guys specifically would like to ask, put it in the chat or email it to me later. Either
Yeah.
way is fine.
Is
This
that
last-
something you
yeah.
want us to attend to tune into?
If you want to, sure. If
more
you want
welcome
to
to.
come, and all of you are certainly welcome. I'm going to invite, we don't have all the instructors here, so I'll make another invitation for the people who weren't here. It might be nice for them to see your faces if you've got same time, just 1 week later.
Okay.
And I'd be happy to send you a invitation with a.
One of the questions I had for the coaches also last time, they asked for it, we had it. I had like a 14-2 at where they're doing the lessons and stuff up on top with
Yeah.
the spinnaker and stuff, in case you want to take the
Yes.
class out and actually physically show them, the
Yes.
spinnaker,
I'm already saying yes.
okay, then we'll
Okay,
have,
we'll do that.
do we need one or two? I mean, if you need two of them up there, I'll
I
get two of them.
think,
up
I
there,
think
you know?
one is two.
Okay,
Debbie
Okay.
says two.
Two,
all right.
they want to, okay.
And I'm gonna put it in the chat.
So all the New Orleans gals are coming in at noon. Good.
Yeah, well, right here.
Yeah.
11.
Just as a point of reference, so everybody appreciates, we keep talking about water and how hot it is. And this weekend we have a race, a women's race. It's predicted to be 99 degrees on Saturday. And the humidity will probably be somewhere between 10 and 15%. So we're not kidding around. When we say it's hot and it's dry, it
Drink
really
lots of water.
and Bruce, maybe this is a note for us, is to have like at least one for the boat, Gatorade or something in case
we will.
somebody
Yeah.
really does get
No,
dehydrated. We have something to go to.
that is another point. It's actually unusual for it to be this warm. It's a El Nino year and it just is. But it is important with the people on your boat to just like be really diligent about making them drink. It's not a bad idea. I do it all the time. I'll take I wear a do-rag and I'll put my do-rag in the water and put it back on my head. It makes pretty bad hair, but it's also, it feels fabulous when you
Just
do.
smell like a carpet at the end of the
Yeah.
day.
No,
Yeah,
I have
that's
a
true.
F50 shirt that I dip in the water and.
Yeah, cotton shirts are better
Gives me
than
about
the
30,
plastic
45
ones.
minutes.
And we do
Or
have,
your sunscreen one.
yeah, we do have safety boat. We'll have radios, so you'll be able to talk to them. So if you need something, you don't have to wait till you go back to the committee boat or something. If you're in need of some more water, if you run low or anything, just call the safety boat and they're there to take care of you.
And pre-hydrating is really important, like, days before, start drinking water.
Which is an issue when you're traveling.
Yeah.
I know I've gone to things before when you're traveling, it's pretty hard to stay hydrated. So that's something that is, and I've got some electrolyte powder. Haley just put that in the chat. That's a good thing that we could just divide up and everyone could have a packet of it on their boat because it really does help. And if you want, I could share some tips for keeping cool. I've got a lot of them that I've developed. I used to cycle and I would ride my bike when it was 110. And there's a lot of clothing things. I know that the tendency when it's hot like that is to strip down. That's actually not good. That you want to stay covered.
And ladies, I already, most of you know, we are supplying you with shirts and they are a UV long sleeve protection shirt. So, for that reason.
Yeah, and don't be afraid
Don't
of
want to
that.
scare you. Don't want to scare you. And when we're talking about the heat, it is hot, but there's also a very good possibility out here within a week it could change and go 100% the other direction and be very cool. So this is the desert. So we just want you to be prepared if it is hot, but there's a very good chance, usually around Halloween, it just seems like a Halloween, the temperature drops 10 degrees just real fast and stuff. So
and because it's a desert, all the heat peels off in the evenings. So the
it cools off
in the evenings and it stays cooler until the afternoon when the heat builds up. So I am happy to share all kinds of info for dealing with heat because I think I'm sort of an expert on that.
Like
Well,
last night
I
was
think I have
72
good
degrees.
news for y'all. I've been
Yeah.
relying on AccuWeather because I've been driving all over the country pretty much all year. And they've been pretty close. And they're showing for the 2nd through the 5th, the highs are going to be in the low 80s. It sounds perfect.
That would be like 4:30 in the afternoon, 3:30 in the afternoon is when it's the hottest. So
Yeah, it sounds
we're
perfect.
sounding real scary about the heat and I want people to be prepared, but it
It can change.
we go out and we started our racing a couple of weeks ago, so it's totally doable and it's not dangerous if
And
you
also
just mind your P's and Q's.
when you see the temperature of Phoenix, the lake is always cooler, at least 5 degrees or so
Yeah.
cooler. And then you're also on the water with a breeze. So it's, there's those factors to deal with too. So it's not quite as bad as it seems.
Yeah, well, you probably won't be cold except at night.
Well, keep in mind, though, the wind on the lake comes out of the north in the morning. And the reason it comes out of the north is that there's a big mountain range to the north of the lake. And so the wind, that cool wind from the mountain, comes down off the mountain and across the lake in the morning. And it can be quite chilly still. So
Yeah, be sure and pack your
bring
sweatshirt.
layers.
You may use it.
Yeah.
And it's just the opposite in the afternoon. The south side where all the land is and no mountains, that heats up, and then you get your breeze from that. So it's pretty predictable. And Gail, I didn't get to introduce you, so you want to just say where you're from?
Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm sorry I was late. Dad called. He's 95, so I answer.
Yeah.
And still doing judging. And wants to sail and wants to race, but that's kind of a challenge these days. So I'm Gail McCarthy Turlock. I live in Richland, Michigan on beautiful Gull Lake. And I'm active in both offshore racing on the Great Lakes and sunfish racing pretty much east of the Rocky Mountains and occasionally foreign countries. And involved in sport organization pretty much from the top down.
And anyone feel free to send me an email at my regular email, huntsmand@me.com. I'll put it in the chat to everyone again. Because I know sometimes the chat, group chat.
Okay. All right. Well, ladies, I've got to run myself, but Diane's still here. I just want to say thank you and forward to a great weekend.
And that's kind of a big deal too. I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of you coming and doing this. This is how we're gonna build equality for women in sailing and make it where it's way better than it used to be, but I think
ways to go.
For instructional things, it's really good for women to learn from other women, even if they don't want to. I think it's still good to see us as role models. So thank you so much for doing this. I hope it will be fun. Ed's coming in, so he'll say hello, and then we'll all tell Ed goodbye, okay?
Well, let me jump in with a couple of things. I want to address some questions that people asked in the chat. The race committee boats, there are no plans to have igloo coolers or extra water coolers on the race boats, but the committee boat will have big water jugs, so you can swing by the committee boat and refill your waters. And we will have a cooler on board the race committee boat with ice in it. If there are things that you have to keep on ice, you can keep them there. So I hope that answers those kinds of questions.
So people can just swing by and ask for ice to put in their Yetis.
Ice or water, yeah, either one.
Yeah, and if you've got a Yeti, it's a really good choice. They work pretty well. So here's Ed. We're all going to tell you goodbye, Ed.
That figures. And Betsy, I'll get you up to speed on that other call tomorrow or whenever it's going to be. Give me a jingle.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in.
My pleasure.
Good to see